Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very crucial Round 12 of the Midwest Formula 2 Championship, and it's being held at the Jeddah Cornish Circuit. 27 corners make up this 6.1-kilometer circuit that's been branded as the world's fastest street circuit, and that's no overstatement at all, as about 80% of the lap is taken full throttle, and it's sure to be even more for these F2 cars. So, as we say, it's a crucial round of the championship. We are, though, missing both of the ART drivers. Neither Dirty Boy Jackson or Killer XL have been able to make the Grand Prix tonight, and mind you, those are two very close battles atop both championships. At this moment in time, Dirty Boy Jackson only down 7 points to Elma Jacko for the Drivers' Championship lead, and the ART team, I believe, has gotten overtaken by the High-Techs last week. That gap being, at this moment in time, a total of 30 points after last week. So, assuming that we get ourselves a clean Grand Prix here today, both Elma Jacko and that high-tech team will firmly cement themselves in the championship hunt. And there's only a couple of rounds left. Naturally, we only have a 15-round season. This one could really, I don't want to say be sealed today, but it's quite possible that we're looking at a situation that Elma Jacko might actually begin to run away with this championship, who, by the way, hasn't led the championship since, I believe it's been really a few rounds now, hasn't it? It's actually been so long. See, when was the last time that Jacko led the driver standings? That was all the way back. Round 4 was the last time he led the Drivers' Championship. So, big round for him today. Can he keep it clean? And can he keep himself in that championship hunt? We're along with Scornsy, making his way now through Sector 1. This track being one of the most physically and mentally demanding circuits, not just in real life, but in-game as well. The amount of focus required for this track is outstanding. Really, drivers have to be at their wits at all stages of the Grand Prix here today, and hopefully we get a very clean one. As Scornsy now coming up to the Sector 1 timing line now. Let's see what he's got. Exit at turn 12, holds it quite nicely. This used to be a DRS zone in the last game. It isn't anymore, which is quite unfortunate. I thought it worked quite well as a DRS zone. Through the banked corner of turn 13, definitely be looking for oversteer on exit, perhaps. Everybody naturally on the soft tires, as you'd expect. And now going into turns 15, 16, and 17, one of the very few braking zones on this circuit, and it's a right quick one as well. Then back on the throttle. Team B7, unfortunately, has retired. DRS is going to be open here momentarily once you get around, I believe, technically this is, turns 21 and 22. And then as you get to the line back on the brakes, Villeneuve has retired. Kate Thomas, crucially, in that high-tech car, has retired from the session as well. He'll start 16th. Scornsy now making his way out of turn 25, 26, and then eventually down into the kink of turn 27 in order to perhaps get himself on pole and make it, I want to say, at least a couple consecutive wins at this point in time. DRS open then for the Trident as he makes his way to the line. Let's see what he's got. It is A-Dub on pole. Not by that much, however, as it seems like, well, it's only 2.5 tenths back to Lightwork in that MP car. Elma Jacko third, Scornsy fourth. Definitely a talented a front couple rows here. So, your qualifying order then, A-Dub in the HWA on pole. Second belongs to the MP of Lightwork. Third is Jacko. Fourth, Scornsy. Fifth, Lancey. Sixth, Jiraiya. Seventh, Galloway. Eighth, Josh Sr. Ninth, Valentine. 10th, Slayerized. 11th, Domwar making his debut here today. Shadow in 12th. 13th belongs to Darkness. 14th, Optic. 15th, Villeneuve. 16th, Kate Thompson. 17th, Team B7. The final three did not get the chance to fill their qualifying destiny there. But 14 laps of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix up. Oh man, this one could be a very entertaining Grand Prix, and I'm very much hoping it is. So Scornsy, as we were just mentioning, sitting on 2 wins in a row. At this moment in time, he won Austria, and before that, he won Miami, the inaugural race at Miami. And speaking of inaugural races, only one Midwest F2 Grand Prix was held at this track beforehand. And, well, it happened to be won by me. That was quite a good race, that. And at that time, we didn't know if F2 was ever going to be coming back. And now it is. And I'm very happy to say that. And not only is it back this season, we have released our Season 8 schedule as well. A very interesting one. It is the Formula 2 World Tour, starting off November the 8th at Brazil, the week after the 15th, Mexico, the 22nd at COTA, the 29th Miami, December the 6th at Canada, December the 13th at Portimao, December 20th, Spain, the only currently, now I say currently because the schedule may be subject to change. Currently, the only reverse points grid race on calendar for that season at the Circuit Barcelona, Catalunya. December 27th, we have the post-Christmas and New Year's break. January 3rd, 3 days before my birthday, happens to be Silverstone. We make our return there. Zandvoort for the first time in 2 seasons. Monza on January the 17th. January the 24th, we go to Imola. The Italian swing then. Baku on the 31st of January. February 7th, Bahrain. Is it Valentine's Day? February the 14th belongs to Abu Dhabi. China, February the 21st. February the 28th at Singapore, and then rounding out the season on March the 7th at Australia. So, a very exciting season coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. Well, it's about a month, isn't it? Today's October the 4th. So, yeah, just about a month's time. As it looks like, who are we waiting for here? Typically, we wouldn't need to wait this long. Valentine, naturally, he is the one to give the command here. Valentine reminding us formation lap is on. Looks like the F2 cars will be racing in the daytime here, which is something that we haven't actually. I actually completely forgot this was a night race. To be completely honest, typically we like to get as many night races as we can. I think everybody and their mother perhaps forgot that this track has the capabilities for a night race. But am I going to complain? Absolutely not, because it's a beautiful day here in Jeddah, and hopefully the racing is even better. As now, the lights turning on here for the formation lap, naturally as it is. We're going to be having A-Dub lead them off the grid here. Let's just take a look at the tires, what everyone is on. Softs and mediums on tap for you today. I'd say about a 50-50 split, really, between the soft and medium tires. That's going to be quite well. The only thing I've got a little bit of a concern of is NFS Lightwork starting in second on the medium tires. He is going to be one of those drivers that, should he not get a good start off the line, he will be eaten up rather quickly, because those medium tires do take just a minute to actually become the best tire available. So it'll be very interesting to see how long he can hold on to that second spot, if he can at all. Mind you, that run into turn 1, it's immediate 90-degree left-hander and then a immediate 90-degree right-hander right after that. So very, very tricky. It's not even 90 degrees, more than that. 135, something like that. I don't know math. Josh Senior, the only other driver within the top 10 who's starting on the medium, so 2 within the top 10, that being Lightwork and Josh Senior. Everyone else outside the top 10, minus that of CPI Optic, has chosen the medium tires, that being Dom War, Shadow, Darkness King, Villeneuve, Cake Thomas, and Team B7. Now, if you're a driver like Cake Thomas right here, you have a lot to be made up, as you really... I don't want to... You're really outside your comfort zone here. That's the only way to describe it. You're starting way at the back of the grid. This is not a position he's typically used to starting in. And he's got a lot of work to do today. We'll have to keep an eye on him, because I tell you what, he is a very talented and capable driver in these F2 cars, as he is F1 cars as well. And it'll be very fun to see what he can manage today, if perhaps he can stay out of trouble. This track, certainly one of those that does tend to breed trouble, and I'm hoping that we do not necessarily have that on store for you today. I'd rather a nice clean race with no safety cars at all, but mind you, 50% rule in effect should we spend a 50% majority on of the race under safety car. We haven't had to use that. We haven't had to use that yet. We've been quite close. We've been within 2 laps of it before, but that has not been needed to be used quite yet, which is quite nice. So, as the grid forms itself up here, A-Dub pulling up to the line, Lightwork second. Lightwork, I'd say, is a little bit more angled up to that right-hand side. Yes, he is. Majacco looks actually to be angled around the right. He wants around the outside. Scornsy really angled in there towards the center, really pointing his car in between El Majacco and Lightwork then. Behind him, Lancey and Shirai is actually angled in a bit as well. Galloway's pointing himself towards the right side of the circuit. All seems to be quite here. quite normal. Team B7 did not find the grid correctly on the formation lap. He has been disqualified. But the lights turning on here in Saudi Arabia. We have 4 and then 5. And it's lights out, and away we go. Who gets the best start off the line? I tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't Lightwork. He's fallen back down to 4th immediately off the start. El Majako and Scornsy side by side. Majako's actually been able to get down to the inside there. Lightwork's going to try it around the outside of Scornsy. It looks like Josh Sr. has been able to get around Lancier. Perhaps has Lancey fallen off because he's lost a couple of positions there. For now, everything seems to be okay. A little bit further towards the back, it believes. Oh, Domwar and Lancey, they've had a bit of an incident there. That's been a little bit of a misbraking there, I believe, by one of the cars in behind. It may actually have been Lancey that committed that mistake as he fell off, and then suddenly a couple cars had gone off track. That was exiting turn number 4. But it looks like for the most part everything has stayed okay, minus that of Shadow, who now falls down the order. Not good for him. Front wing completely gone on that, I believe that is the Charouz. Yes, it is. Well, I say completely gone. It's missing at least the right-hand side, the majority of it. But no virtual safety car for now. A-Dub has the lead. Majako has gotten himself up to 2nd. Lightwork, as we predicted, has fallen down to 3rd, but at least remains in contention. Still 9/10 of a second behind, and he's putting a gap to Scornsy behind him as well. Shariah Coleslaw, he is hunting down Scornsy here. I tell you what, if Scornsy was a championship winner, I believe before El Majako did it, this guy, had he entered the championship, maybe 5 or 6 rounds ago, 5 or 6 rounds prior than what he did, he may have been a championship contender now. This guy's been absolutely on fire, but it appears like he's got his work cut out for him today. As it looks like Shariah, can he find the right-hand side around Scornsy? No, he doesn't, but Shadow has retired from the session, and that's been done on track as well. And now a virtual safety car has taken place. Domwar then losing the position to M. Galloway. Was that before the virtual safety car came out? We'd have to believe that it is. But Shadow has failed to retire in the pits, and he will be picking up a qualifying ban next round. Domwar is the first one. I keep thinking, like, you know, that Nardwar guy. It kind of reminds me of that. Domwar? I can't quite tell. Well, whoever he is, he's in the pits, and we're going to go ahead and assume, you see, this is interesting here. Perhaps a rookie mistake from him then. He's going to have to make another stop, as in F2, you have to complete at least the 3 laps on the one compound. He will have to pit again, as A-Dub now, a drive-through penalty for speed. Oh, and El Majako has gotten into A-Dub there. My, oh my, A-Dub had picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding onto the virtual safety car, and then for some reason El Majako veered very much to the right-hand side, or maybe did A-Dub get in his trail then? But either way, it has resulted in A-Dub not being able to complete the Grand Prix, and I have a strong feeling that one might result in a steward report later on. But for now, the race stays green with El Majako out to the lead. Lightwork 2nd, Scornsy 3rd. Shariah Coleslaw in 4th. He wasn't able to track down then the Trident of Scornsy, and it looks like once DRS comes into play, it might be able to happen. That was a very, very nasty crash then for A-Dub, and I have to say, very controversial as well. I wasn't quite sure what's happened. We only got a bare glimpse of it, but that one was not pretty at all. Shariah Coleslaw working on Scornsy here. He's going to look down to that inside. Didn't have it through turn 27, and he doesn't have it yet. CPI Optic really up to the gearbox then of Cake Thomas. Can he find his way around that right-hand side or perhaps down behind him? Let's see. Hopefully no bump drafting is happening here. Jackson Altman knows quite a lot about that one. CPI Optic down to that inside. Nearly makes contact with the left rear tire then of the high-tech of Cake Thomas. He's going to find his way around the outside, still side by side. Somehow doesn't smack the wall going through the corner. And it looks like for now, he's got himself the position, but Cake Thomas still right there. And I think finally Cake Thomas backed out of that one. Shariah Coleslaw still hunting down Scornsy, but to no avail at this moment in time. Meanwhile, his teammate Cake Thomas has done quite well to make himself once again relevant in this race, up to P9. Dom War, 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. That's not what he needed at all. Lancey now, can he find his way back to Valentine? Valentine has a penalty here. I wonder what for. It is a drive-through penalty, that, for Valentine 94. It must be for speeding under the virtual safety car. We must have missed that after A-Dub's DNF, but Valentine has also picked up a drive-through penalty. Now, I'd say he would have about 2 or 3 laps to take care of that penalty. He will have to do it quite shortly as CPI Optic finding that right-hand side of Lancey. Oh, that's big contact there, and the MP goes shuttling into the wall. Oh, and he's driven straight into the back then of Lancey, and both cars off track now. And that, I gotta say, that should not have happened. CPI Optic, I don't know if he missed his braking point or what, but he's driven straight into that HWA of Lancey, and he's going to have some explaining to do for that one. I can guarantee it. Drama already unfolding as Lancey, I believe, is being overtaken here down the inside by M. Galloway. How much does Lancey actually have any wing damage from that collision with Optic? It doesn't appear that he does. So I guess he's gotten away scot-free from whatever shenanigans CPI Optic had gotten himself involved in. M. Galloway, however, temporarily was actually looking down to that inside despite Lancey having the DRS. Galloway was actually on pace to make a move there. Very close indeed. Josh Senior is within 7/10 of Shariah Coleslaw ahead of him for the 4th spot. Josh Senior with a season-best 3rd position finish last week out at the Red Bull Ring. I almost want to say that is his best career finish as well. Definitely riding high on the momentum for that. CPI Optic up to 3 seconds of penalty slayerized has found that as well. Now, despite it being early days, that doesn't necessarily mean all that much. There is still a lot of time left in this Grand Prix, naturally, and that will be a lot of time to get these penalties sorted and to obviously negate their effects. Yellow flag towards the back. Oh, that's a big incident then. CPI Optic has found the outside wall exiting turn at number 13, and the full safety car is out on track. And that was a very unfortunate incident there for CPI Optic. I wonder if he's gotten into anybody or has just lost the car due to oversteer. It's very possible that that has happened like that. But now, are we finding it that we can have drivers in to put on the medium tires? It might be. We'll have to see. Jacko leading the grid. Obviously, he's going to have the overarching power here on the rest of the grid's decision. Does he come in? Yes, he does. Elma Jacko finds his way into the pit lane. Does he get the car slowed down in time? Yes, he does. Lightwork behind him, Scornsy behind him. Pretty much everyone, I would assume, that started on the softs will be taking the mediums here. Funny enough, Kate Thomas actually came in as well. Will he be taking the softs? That very much looks like. That very much looks to be the case here. Slayerized came in behind his teammate of Elma Jacko. The pit crew naturally wasn't ready, as these F2 crews definitely quite slow 9 times out of 10, as he does fit the medium tire. Lancey did come in. He's fitting the mediums, so it looks like the tire strategies have flip-flopped here. Anyone who was on mediums went to the softs. Anyone who was on softs went to mediums, as naturally you would do. Lightwork has come out in a interesting position here. He has gone in, fit the softs. He will be 2nd place behind Elma Jacko, but how long will the safety car stay out? Out Josh Senior leading the charge here. Behind him is the Carlin of Villeneuve. Behind him, I believe that is the Trident then of Darkness King. I believe my microphone's just had a little bit of an off there. But either way, Josh Senior stayed out, has the lead. Villeneuve 2nd, Darkness King 3rd. We're in store for one good finish here. And I'll step aside while the safety car sorts itself out. So the safety car is finding its way in this lap, and you remember how during the actual Formula 1 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix this year we had a missile strike very close to the circuit? Well, how much of a missile does Elma Jacko and NFS Lightwork try to be here in order to take the top spot? Naturally, Lightwork's got himself a ton of work here. If he gets past Elma Jacko, he will inherit the lead of the Grand Prix once Josh Senior comes in. Villeneuve and Darkness King did eventually choose to make their way into the pit, so they have fallen down the order. And now, green flag back in the air. Josh Senior has the lead. Elma Jacko in behind. Does Elma Jacko try to get down to that inside? Oh, I think he definitely had a look, but chose to back out of it. Wow, Lightwork really late on the brakes there. Nearly went careening into the back of the Prima then. And it looks like down towards the back, Lancey and M. Galloway battling it out there. Nearly 3 abreast between these 3. And somehow, some way, everyone comes away clean. Shariah Coleslaw trying to hunt down Scornsy. Josh Sr. getting overtaken by El Majacco up the inside for the lead of the Grand Prix. Is Lightwork in this battle as well? Lightwork, oh, I tell you what, he was looking for two there. Didn't come away with any as Josh Sr. really was in a good place to block off that move. But here's Lightwork. He's on the softs, the fastest tire out of anyone in the top three. Let's see if he's able to make the move down into turn 13. Definitely going to be looking for it. Doesn't quite have it though, as we are now just about halfway through this Grand Prix. Does NFS Lightwork have anything for Josh Sr. here? Mind you, the more that time that he spends behind Josh Sr., the less time he's going to have to get back to El Majacco. Within that slipstream of the Virtuosi ahead, does he have anything for him here? He's going to look around that left-hand side, perhaps the right. Remember, no DRS in play for a couple more laps now. Really, once again, up to the gearbox. We saw him do that with Kate Thomas earlier on in the race. But for now, it looks like he retains third position. Kate Thomas, can he find anything to M. Galloway here? He's definitely going to be looking for it, but we'll have to wait and see. He's really close to the gearbox then of the Carlin ahead. Scornsy now, does he have anything up to Shariah Coleslaw ahead of him? Apologies as I refix everything there. Here's Scornsy as he now looks for a way around the MP. It looks like M. Galloway's fallen off. Kate Thomas is going to get up that inside. Looks like Kate Thomas has made that move down to the inside through turn 27. That looked to be a great one there. NFS Lightwork and Josh Sr. side by side as they head for turn number 1. Who's going to have the position? It looks like Lightwork is going to have it. I don't necessarily want to say with ease, but it very well could have been more difficult perhaps in another scenario. It looks like Lancey's gotten around M. Galloway there. He will take 7th spot. Mind you, currently sitting on penalties. Slayerized at 3 seconds. Team B7 on 3 seconds, with which he picked up under the safety car. And Dom War at 5 seconds as well. Kate Thomas and his teammate now, Shariah Coleslaw. These two, honestly, I gotta say, for as far as results-wise, these two have been some of the most consistent drivers all season long. Very much why they are atop the constructor standings, as Darkness King and a couple others pick up time penalties there. Scornsy makes his way down to the inside of Josh Sr. For the podium spot, and in pursuit as well. Here comes Shariah Coleslaw. Does he have anything for it? Not quite yet. NFS Lightwork has made up a couple of tenths to the back of El Majacco, but he doesn't have anything quite yet. We'll have to wait and see once DRS comes into play if he can make the move. Couple cars here, all within about 6 or 7 tenths of each other. Josh Sr. leading the charge. Actually, Scornsy leading the charge. Josh Sr. in hot pursuit. Shariah Coleslaw in hot pursuit behind him. And Kate Thomas in hot pursuit behind him. And Lancey wants in on it as well. There's so much great racing here. Kate Thomas. I don't necessarily think he would be too aggressive around his teammate here, although Kate Thomas is on those fresh, soft tires. Those are going to be the better tires, only temporarily, but for now, I would have to believe they will, as Kate Thomas looking for it round the outside of his teammate, Shariah Coleslaw, isn't able to make it happen. But now here's Josh Sr. re-challenging for that 3rd spot, as NFS Lightwork has the fastest lap at 1:42.618. And Josh Sr. and Scornsy side by side heading into the first corner. Who has the position? Josh Sr. wants it up the inside, and he has it for now. Maybe a little contact there, and Josh Sr. big wiggle. Shariah has had to take evasive action, and now Josh Sr. losing 3 positions there, all in the span of 2 corners, as Kate Thomas promotes himself up to 4th. Shariah Coleslaw gets caught up in the madness, drops down to 5th, Lancey up to 6th, and it looks like Valentine and M. Galloway have had an off then. 2 drivers have gotten caught up in some sort of conundrum there. It looks like, oh goodness gracious, that almost went absolutely poorly, and a safety car on track. Has M. Galloway been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location? I'm not quite sure why his car is invisible at this moment in time, but the safety car out here in Jeddah. El Majacco has the lead, Lightwork in 2nd, Scornsy 3rd, Kate Thomas 4th, Shariah 5th. Now mind you, it's only going to be a couple of laps to go once the safety car comes in. Does anyone decide to take a risk and make a pit stop then? This one could be. This is a very interesting decision here. I'm watching El Majacco. He won't need to come in, mind you, but does he have the idea of, you know what, maybe I've done my stint on the mediums required. Do I put on the softs for the final rest of the way and perhaps be off to an advantage? Does Lightwork say, hey, perhaps it's time to go to the mediums. The softs are still looking fresh, but perhaps to be on level pegging with everyone else once the tires drop off? A lot of decisions to be made here. Have to wait and see. Does anyone come in? Looks like Josh Sr. naturally will be one of the only ones coming in. So for the most part, the grid has stayed the same. Josh Sr. on his way in. Slayerized on his way in. Light work. 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And where has he done that? Well, that I gotta say is quite the bold one then. That I did not expect. Actually, quite a bit of drivers in the pits now. Josh Sr. back to Team B7, really. Everyone on behind has gone in and fit a new set of tires. In the process of doing that, as well as M. Galloway. Who comes out on what tire? Everyone from Josh Sr. on back, minus that of Darkness King. Who I believe is actually... Are those used mediums? Yeah, they must be. Everyone on back of Josh Sr. has fit soft compound tires. Currently, as it stands, Lightwork second, Cake Thomas fourth, Villeneuve, Josh Sr., Dom War, Team B7, Slayerized, Valentine, and Galloway on the soft tires. Lightwork does have 3 seconds of time penalty, and I'm not sure he's going to have a lot of time to get that taken care of, really. I'm going to step aside as the safety car sorts itself out, but we are in for one hell of a finish here. So the safety car finds its way in at the end of this lap. We will have laps 12, 13, and 14 of racing. Only lap 14 will feature DRS. El Majacco has himself a fair shot at the win here, Lightwork. I'm afraid it may all come crumbling down for him, as he's got 3 seconds of time penalties. But, mind you, everyone outside of the top 7, minus that of Darkness King, on soft compound tires. We very well could be in store for a crazy one here. Cake Thomas up 12 spots since the beginning of the race. It's been great for him. Green flag is going to be back out in the air here momentarily. Does Scornsy get an advantage, get a move around Lightwork to perhaps play spoiler here for championship leader El Majacco as the green flag back in the air? Scornsy right up against the gearbox of the MP ahead of him. He's going to look down to the inside, and I'm afraid he's going to have that one. Well, not yet. No, he doesn't. The camera angle has deceived me, as it looks like Slayerized and Darkness King may have fallen back there, back to 12th and 14th. Mind you, a lot of those drivers do have penalties. However, El Majacco now already out to an 8.5 lead over Lightwork in second. Scornsy as Cake Thomas right close behind. Cake Thomas really looking for the overtake on the Trident ahead. Does he have anything? He's really on the gearbox now. Oh, nearly got squeezed into the inside wall. But Cake Thomas on those soft tires, does he have it for Scornsy? Down to the inside. Darkness King has retired from the session. That being back at the tail end of the grid. That coming out of turn number 12, right about where Mick Schumacher famously had his incident, and that's where he's done it there. I don't suppose we'll be having a safety car this late in the race, but it looks like Cake Thomas has gotten around Scornsy. Shariah Coleslaw in pursuit of this one. Lancey looking back to Shariah. Josh Sr. in pursuit to Villeneuve. But at this moment in time, look at the ground that Lightwork is making up here. He's now within 0.5 of a second on El Majacco. Now, despite having that 3-second time penalty, he can still salvage some great points if he can somehow, some way negate that 3-second time penalty. At this moment in time, my estimation, he would drop down to about 6th. But, as we have a yellow flag off towards the back, that looks to be Slayerized and M. Galloway have parked it there, going through turn 27, 25 rather, and I'm afraid maybe have they just simply got in the way of each other and didn't find any place to go. That may be the case. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Lightwork down to the inside on El Majacco. Does he have anything for him there? No, he doesn't. But it's not over yet, naturally. He's going to try to find that left-hand side, and Lightwork's going to have the lead of the Grand Prix, temporarily albeit, but should El Majacco make a mistake, or should Lightwork magically spawn a 3-second lead over that of El Majacco? I mean, honestly, so much could happen here. Galloway on his way in, Slayerized. Dom War has gone off as well. His debut has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately, as it is. But Lightwork has the lead of the Grand Prix. Majacco second, Cake Thomas third, Scornsy fourth. El Majacco knows that he doesn't need to contend for this position necessarily unless he really makes a mistake, as Lightwork does have that 3-second penalty. Majacko, all he needs to do is keep it clean for the final 2 laps of the Grand Prix here. Did I say it was the final lap? Well, I thought it was the final lap. It wasn't, actually. Lap 13 of 14, Majacko down that inside. Does he have anything on light work? Well, he's had to back out of the position there. Mind you, Cake Thomas has suddenly spawned into this battle for eventually the lead of the Grand Prix, as now he's within 6.5 tenths, just under 7 tenths of El Majacko ahead. As we edge closer to the final lap of the Grand Prix, the more that El Majacko toys around with light work here, the more time he's losing to Cake Thomas behind. Cake Thomas very well could play spoiler in this final lap of the Grand Prix should all the stars align for him. El Majacko now. Does he have anything for light work heading into the first corner? Final lap of the Grand Prix underway, DRS enabled. El Majacko looking down to the inside, albeit he doesn't have to fight too hard, but he's got Cake Thomas in hot pursuit, and I believe that really is who he's battling here. Wheel-to-wheel contact there between himself and the MP, and he's gotten out ahead, and that has put a solid buffer back to Cake Thomas in third. Does Lightwork have anything for him here? Oh, Jacko's gone wide, going through turn 4. That may have opened the door, at least for Lightwork. Lightwork's been able to go up the inside, but Cake Thomas now really in hot pursuit. Is he going to be able to have that inside line? No, he doesn't. Nearly gets there. Majacko's lag, I'm afraid, getting him a little across the circuit. Lightwork doing his best he can to avoid the drivers. Cake Thomas really into the back then of El Majacko. Lightwork is blocking off that top lane. Cake Thomas has got to find something here. DRS naturally will be in his favor, but Cake Thomas on the precipice of winning the Grand Prix here. Oh, and it looks like maybe he's gotten a slow exit out of turn 13. His teammate of Scornsey, his teammate of Shirai Coleslaw and Scornsey battling it out close behind. El Majacko still being held up by NFS Lightwork on the final lap of the Grand Prix. They'll be coming to DRS shortly. Cake Thomas is going to have one last solid attempt at the overtake for the win on El Majacko here. Does he have it? He's going to look to that inside, and naturally Lightwork. Jacko's gone side by side, smartly as well, side by side with NFS Lightwork to block off the move for Cake Thomas, but I'm afraid El Majacko may have found himself in a hole here. He's not exactly close to that MP ahead. Cake Thomas, should he have one final lunge, it's going to be coming into the 27th corner. El Majacko choosing the outside line. Cake Thomas is going to go down to the inside. Lightwork is on the bottom line. He's going to be blocking that line, and it looks like El Majacko might just be taking the lead of the Grand Prix here. And at the line, it is a 5/100ths of a second gap between El Majacko and NFS Lightwork. It is El Majacko taking the win here. Cake Thomas second, as Shariah Coleslaw third. It's a high-tech double podium. Scornsey in fourth, Josh Sr. fifth, another great result for him. Lancey finishes sixth, Lightwork in seventh after his penalty. What a brilliant Grand Prix that was. So at the end of a very entertaining Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, El Majacko taking the win, his second of the season in the Prima. He finishes on top. Cake Thomas second, Shariah Coleslaw third, Scornsey fourth, Josh Sr. fifth, Lancey sixth, Lightwork seventh after his penalty, Villeneuve eighth, ninth is Valentine, 10th Team B7, 11th Dom Warren on his debut, 12th Slayer Rise, 13th Galloway, 14th Darkness King, 15th Optic A-Dub, and Shadow down in 17th. None of them did finish the Grand Prix. And, well, if you're Elma Jacko, you've had yourself an absolutely brilliant time here. And not only that, you've got your home Grand Prix next weekend as the F2 Circus takes on the Albert Park Circuit for round 13 of this season. Hotspot, thank you for joining us on the call, and we will see you next week.